Good morning, dear students, and welcome to our next chapter in Science 2, which is Introduction to Microbiology. Now, what is microbiology? That is something that we have already discussed in the 8th standard and 9th standard. So, we will not go into the details of that. But in this year, we will be moving a step forward and we will be understanding what is the application of microbiology to our day-to-day life. So, we will be looking at applied microbiology. Now, applied microbiology is a scientific discipline that deals with the application of microorganisms and the knowledge about them in biotechnology, food microbiology, agriculture, medicine, and bioremediation. Now, what do we understand by this? This basically means that whatever we are learning in microbiology, whatever we are learning about microorganisms, that is something that we will be applying to different techniques, modern techniques, when it comes to biotechnology, when it comes to understanding the role of microorganisms in the food industry, in the agricultural industry, in the medical industry, and for bioremediation. Now, applied microbiology is a branch of biology in which the study of the enzymes which are released by the microorganisms is taken into consideration. Okay, and this study is used for the society and for various products like food, medicines, and these are produced on a large scale with the help of microorganisms. Now let us understand what is industrial microbiology. Now, industrial microbiology is a branch of applied microbiology, and in this, microorganisms are used in the industrial processes like in the production of high value products such as drugs, chemicals, fuels, electricity, and a variety of other things. Okay, so basically you can say that it is a science which is related to the commercial use of microorganisms, and this is used for increasing the economy of the society, for increasing the social well-being of the people, for increasing different types of processes which are related to the environment, and different products are made using this science. And various microbiological processes are useful for this purpose, and they are carried out under intensive research. So this year, under industrial microbiology, we will be looking at three important features of it. Okay, we will be understanding the process of fermentation, what is the importance of fermentation, how the process of fermentation is useful for making a number of things like bread, cheese, wine, and also used for making a number of raw materials for various chemicals, for making enzymes, for different types of nutritions, and for different types of medicines. All this is related to the process of fermentation. Then we will also be looking at garbage management and pollution control. We will be understanding how microorganisms can be used to manage the waste product, the garbage which is being generated by human beings. And we will also be taking a look at how microorganisms can be used for taking certain steps for pollution control. The first thing we look at today under fermentation is dairy products. Now, we all know that in our houses, our mother makes a number of things out of milk. She may make yogurt, that is dahi. There are some houses which even go on to the extent of collecting cream from the milk and converting it into ghee and chas. Different types of things are made using milk. But when we have to make these things at a commercial level, I'm talking about a very large scale production of these same things, we cannot use the same methods which we use in our house to make these things. For example, if we have to prepare curd on a large scale, it is not possible for us to keep that milk overnight in a very, very large container and just keep it for 8 to 9 hours, and the next day it will become into yogurt or into dahi. That is not how it happens when we are talking about commercial production of curd. So all these dairy products that we are so much fond of having, so much fond of eating, like cheese, butter, cream, yogurt, all these things are prepared in a commercial level in a little different way. Okay, the water content and the acidity of the milk will change in the same way as it changes when we are making these things at home. Okay, but what is done on the commercial level is that there is certain improvement which is made to these products when it is with regards to its texture, to its taste, to its flavor. There are a number of different flavors which are added to it. So all these things can be done at a commercial level. So this is what we will be understanding. Okay, and these processes which are which are performed on a large scale are done using utmost skill. The production of most of the milk products, for most of them, bacteria in the milk itself is used and the products are made. Only when it comes to cheese is prepared with the help of certain fungi which is added to the milk, and then the process is beginning. The process of cheese being formed from milk begins. Okay, but the basic process for the production of yogurt, for the production of cheese and cream is the same. The milk is pasteurized, that is, it is heated to a certain temperature and then it is again cooled down to a certain temperature. So this is pasteurization. The milk is pasteurized at the beginning of all these processes. This helps in the killing of unwanted microorganisms in the milk. It is then fermented with the help of lactobacilli which is present inside the milk. And in this process what happens is that the lactose sugar which is present in the milk gets converted into lactic acid, and the proteins which are present in the milk get coagulated, that is, they get joined together, they come together and form a hard mass, and this happens with the help of the lactic acid. Apart from this, as I said, in the commercial process, there are taste enhancers and flavor enhancers which are also used, and that is how the things are made on a commercial manner. Now you will be seeing a small video with regards to the production of butter, the very famous butter which everyone is aware of, which when you say butter, the only brand that you think of is Amul. So I have put together a small video wherein you will understand how Amul butter is prepared right from the time that it is collected. The milk is collected by the women in the village of Gujarat from the cows. It is sent to the factories, and then the various steps which take place after the milk is collected, right up to the packaging and then sending of the butter packets to the final destination.
India's favorite utterly butterly delicious Amul butter has been an integral part of the Indian food palette since 1952.
It is the nation's flavor and loved by every Indian family. Amul butter, which makes our food tasty and healthy, is processed in various state-of-the-art Amul factories with utmost care and love, so that every day millions of Indians can enjoy their food and get a happy smile on their face.
India's favorite Amul butter is made with mesmerizing ultra-modern processing technology.
Let's explore how the heavenly Amul butter is made at various Amul factories.
Amul butter is 100% natural and it does not contain any artificial flavor, color or chemical preservative.
Since ages, traditional butter making has been a part of Indian culture. Now the same yummy butter is made by Amul, the taste of India for us. Amul butter has been the favored butter of millions of Indians living across the world. and it is the largest producer of butter in India.
It is no surprise that 9 out of 10 butter eaters choose Amul butter. Butter is a rich source of vitamin A, D, K and E and has many health benefits.
Amul butter is literally a lifeline for many bread and butter earners. Every day in the morning it delights the taste buds of children, young and adult.
It's unimaginable to think of a breakfast plate without the Amul butter.
Butter contains a lot of healthy saturated fats. The war against saturated fat was based on bad science. It was never really proven that it caused any harm.
In fact, recent studies suggest that there is no association at all between saturated fat and cardiovascular disease.
Butter also contains a 4-carbon fatty acid called butyrate, an anti-inflammatory known to have powerful protective effects on the digestive system and may also prevent weight gain.
Amul as well as India owes a lot to the godfather of its Indian dairy, Dr. Verghese Kurian. We also fondly call him the milkman of India. The credit of introducing the darling Amul butter girl goes to him. Do you know that the Utterly Butterly topical advertisement is the longest running campaign in the world on billboards?
Dr. Kurian's dream and vision for Indian dairy has made India one of the largest producers of milk in the world. And we salute him for his dedication to economic and social empowerment of the Indian women and rural community.
To make the high-quality Amul butter and other products, Amul collects milk every day from its 3.6 million milk producers spread across thousands of villages in India.
This is one of those many dairy societies under the vast network of the famous Amul model of milk producers cooperative societies.
Strict quality parameters of Amul ensures that only the best milk is used to make the butter. Amul facilitates village milk societies with testing equipment and chilling units to maintain high standard milk quality at the village level itself.
It is no surprise that many Amul village level societies are ISO certified, and that's a huge achievement.
Every day, more than 20 million litres of milk is collected from villages through specially designed tankers under low temperature and sent to designated areas.
Once milk tankers enter the Amul plants, a trained factory supervisor welcomes the sealed milk trucks. Milk samples are taken from each tanker immediately and analysed for quality parameters in a sophisticated lab.
Once the quality is approved, the lab sends signal to the receiving docks to unload the milk. A trained staff connects the tankers to milk pumping stations and then milk is stored in silos for further processing.
Now milk is sent for pre-treatment at the butter plant section. The automatic processing plant, which handles 3 million litres of milk daily, is monitored from a control room through computers. This is really an incredible magic of automation.
Next in this section, first milk goes through a chiller, automatic bacteria clarifier, a separator and then to a pasteurizer. Separator removes the cream from the milk and pasteurization kills all pathogenic bacteria if any present in the milk.
Thanks to Lewis Pasture, we get to have clean and healthy milk every day. This whole process is fully automated and happens without human touch. Milk is pre-treated in this section and cream is separated continuously round the clock.
Though Amul butter plant is fully automatic, trained dairy technologists keep an eye on the plant and machinery and supervise and check the various systems physically too. After all, dairy industry is very quality sensitive.
Next, while the milk treatment and cream separation process continues, plant technicians keep monitoring the whole process round the clock.
The pasteurized cream is matured in cream storage tanks for around 8 hours at 14 degrees centigrade. This maturation process is known as ripening. Now the ripened cream is brought to a cream balance tank, also known as cream standardization tank.
From here, the cream is sent to a churner while maintaining the temperature at 6 to 14 degrees centigrade. In the churner, cream is churned at 1000 to 1100 rpm, which separates the butter grains and buttermilk.
These separated grains are now further washed at 4 to 5 degrees centigrade, automatically at 60 to 70 rpm inside the churner. From here, butter starts its forward journey to blender for further processing.
In the vacuum blender, butter is mixed automatically with required quantity of salt. Now the plant technologist takes samples for testing.
In the lab, butter samples are delicately placed on petri dishes for various testing purposes. I have never seen a lab technician working so delicately and sincerely preparing the samples.
Now the samples are tested for moisture, fat content and salt, as well as many other parameters in the lab with sophisticated equipment. A stringent quality check and conformation to standards is of utmost importance at the Amul plant. This is why Amul is a household name across India for more than 70 years.
A color check for butter by photo sensor assures that India gets a uniform butter every day, everywhere.
Next, as soon as the labs communicate test results to the control room, butter is stored in silos at a controlled temperature for further delivery to packing section. Cold storing of butter is an important factor in maintaining its quality, flavor and taste. Processed and packed butter has to be kept at 4 to 5 degrees centigrade. Each Amul butter plant has dedicated butter cold rooms, where immediately after packing, butter cartons are stored. Butter is dispatched through the refrigerated containers, which maintain the temperature around 4 to 5 degrees centigrade throughout the journey till they reach the destination. Each refrigerated truck has a system fitted inside, which records the temperature level all the time.
These boxes are then placed one by one in refrigerated containers carefully. Keeping cartons in proper manner with optimal space in between them is important, so the cold air can circulate around each box during their stay in the container.
Once the whole container is filled, an external agency person who monitors and counts the cartons kept in the container seals it.
Next, let us understand the process of making of yogurt. Now, the milk is collected just like it is collected for the process of making of butter. The milk is collected from various people, and 100% of the fresh liquid milk is used for the process of the making of yogurt. The milk is then tested for its purity. It is then stored and stabilized under light. Light treatment is given to the milk so that any harmful bacteria which is present in the milk can die. After that begins the fermentation process, wherein the good bacteria is added to the milk, that is, lactobacilli is mixed with the milk and it is kept for the process of fermentation. After that, there is a cooling process which is present, wherein the temperature of the milk, which is now mixed with the lactobacilli, is reduced and the milk is kept for a certain period of time. Mixing is another process wherein you have taste enhancers which are put to the yogurt, or you have different fruit flavors or different nutritions which are added to the yogurt for additional taste. Finally comes the process of pasteurization, wherein the yogurt is then heated and then cooled down, so that even at this stage, if there is any harmful bacteria present in the yogurt, it will die. And finally comes the packaging and the quality control process, wherein the yogurt is first checked with regards to its quality, and then it is packaged and sent out to different centers for delivery. So this is the process of making yogurt at an industrial level. Next, we look at the process of making of cheese. Now, there is a small video which I have put together for this, but before that, let me just tell you in short about cheese production. The raw milk is collected from the cows, and then there is a process of pasteurization, wherein the harmful microorganisms are killed. Then there is a fermentation process wherein lactobacilli is added to the milk, culturing is done, that is, the lactobacilli is allowed to grow in the milk. After that comes the stirring and the cooking process, wherein the milk which is now filled with the lactobacilli is continuously mixed together, stirred together, and there is a certain cooking process which happens in that at this step as well, which leads to the formation of cheese. And after the cheese is formed and collected, it is stored for a certain period of time, say about 6 months or 1 year, which is called as the ripening process. Okay, so you can watch a small video with regards to this. The video shows you the production of 2 different types of cheese, so please have a look at it.
One of the things that makes cheese so impressive is that there's so many different types.
The better the milk, the better the cheese. Everybody believes that. You want cows that are happy.
It's a very labor-intensive physical job. That's part of the fun.
I'm always amazed when I just see hundreds of blocks of cheese just sitting there.
Anytime I tell anyone that I work in cheese, almost everyone's immediate reaction is, I love cheese. The entire process takes around 5 hours. So we pasteurize our milk, fill our vat, add culture. After that would be rennet addition, which will coagulate the milk. And you let it sit undisturbed so it sets and makes, similar to like a pudding, non-liquid form. And at that point we cut and have curds and whey. It's great, it feels good. It's fun to make something. Since the day I started here, it's always been a really cool experience. Obviously, the fact that I love cheese and enjoy eating cheese made it really easy to get more in depth about this. I love being able to eat cheese every day, but I guess I could do that no matter what job I had. It's very fast-paced and enjoyable to keep herds and whey moving, keep them from settling, sticking back to each other. They want to stick together naturally. It is a lot of cheese for a couple of arms. It's a very labor-intensive physical job. That's part of the fun of it. It's not sitting behind a desk, you know, but it's a tangible activity. We're working with our hands. I think it continues to be interesting, and I love cheese. Absolutely love it. And from there we are doing what's called cheddaring, and that's just a process of stacking and flipping the loaves of cheese to form proteins and let the cheese acidify. That's the big step. That's really what adds a lot of the traits of our flagship. They're fairly heavy, but you know, it's like anything else. You build the muscles with repetition, and it's a good workout. There's always more to learn. I work with an incredible staff, so it really is awesome. There is currently some cheese at my desk. It's all around all the time. It's in my refrigerator at home, at least 4 different types of features cheese. My sister sometimes gets overwhelmed with how much cheese is in my fridge. It's a great situation, I guess, a fun way to live. Well, it's a whole world. I mean, there's science, there's certainly a learning curve. In the beginning, people are like, wow, these things are really heavy, and then a couple months into working here, you're just moving stuff around, not even thinking about it. The flagship cheese is a delicious cheese, and that is because of a lot of different things. It's because of the passionate, involved people we have making it by hand every day. It's because of the recipe that we've developed over the years. The details of our recipe have an effect on what we're looking for, what we're trying to make. Final step is hooping. We put it into the hoop. It gets pressed into large blocks. The aging process is an integral part of our cheese making process here. The aging process affects texture, moisture, flavor profile. Always have a piece of flagship in my fridge at home. Super creamy, melts really well. It has enough flavor that you know you're eating cheese. Always loved a grilled cheese sandwich, so it seemed like a natural fit to come and work at Beecher's. Probably one of the things that makes cheese so impressive is that there's so many different types. Depends so much on the person, the situation, everything.
One of the reasons I chose to buy a farm is I've always loved the outdoors. So I wanted a place where I could make cheese, but I would want to relax outside. That's how it all began. The better the milk, the better the cheese. Everybody believes that. You want cows that are happy. We use raw milk for our cheese for many reasons. When you eat a raw milk cheese, you do pick up more of the flavors of what the cows were eating, especially if they're allowed to eat outside. What makes it unique compared to other cheeses is the color. It has natural annatto, which is a natural coloring that gives it that bright color, makes it look in a way almost like something from outer space, like the moon. The more I got into cheese making and visiting farms, the more I fell in love with it. You know, one of the things I talk about is the art of possibility, that almost anything is possible. Just about every cheese made follows the basic steps. So how can this cheese be so different from another cheese? I think what humans can bring to making cheese is that sense of the moment. We do follow a strict formula, but your eyes and your hands and your senses will tell you that despite what you're supposed to do, maybe you stir it for an extra couple minutes because of the way it feels. You want the right texture. There are wonderful things that can be done with robots, but there's certain human emotions. They can affect food or anything else you do in a positive way. So if you really love what you're doing, you can't really program a robot to have that same kind of love and passion for it. It'll do what you program it to do, but it'll end there. Once you make the cheese, there's a long waiting period during the aging process. Aged cheeses, you go into it knowing that you may not see the fruits of your labor for 6 months to a year out. So you have to have a lot of patience with this cheese. One of the things I really enjoy is I have an excuse to build this below ground cave. When the cheeses are in the cave, they're still alive and the cultures are still reacting. The cheeses can just sit and they develop this rind based on the different strains of bacteria in the air. We do our best to give it the right environment to thrive. You have to try and keep the air clean. What it picks up to create the molds adds another level to the flavor and also the texture because it's a high humidity environment. That's basically a drying process that takes a long time. Staying there in a year lets it develop its truest potential. When I'm in the cave, I'm always amazed when I just see hundreds of wheels and blocks of cheese just sitting there. I'm sure there's several $100,000 worth of cheese down there. To me, they seem happy. When you complete a batch of cheese, whether it works out or not, you feel good because you've created it and done it. It's a wonderful feeling. The full circle value of doing everything from start to finish is my attempt at what one might call artistry. You know, when I taste cheese, there is a bit of magic. I'm just blown away by it. That feeling doesn't change. That's why I take so much pleasure in improving it. Maybe it's harder, but that's what we're trying to do.
With this, dear students, we come to the end of today's lecture. I hope you have enjoyed watching the videos, and we will continue with the remaining parts in the next lecture. So till then, dear students, stay happy, stay safe. Bye.